Hello, I'm Glenn Tobey. I'm a Spring Forest Shikang master and a psychotherapist. The focus of this talk is on the theme of the art of coming home. A specific focus today is on saving face. Not saving this face, surely not. So the face we're talking about, the saving face, is really about a relational thing. So in the context of thing, like if children visit their grandpa, so to speak, and the grandpa starts telling stories about, this or that, and the children go kind of like, Grandpa, we heard that story, 50 times already, Grandpa. You always repeat yourself, Grandpa. So in one sense, it doesn't have to be so harsh, but in one sense, it really is like trying to correct Grandpa. Hey, Grandpa, look at your memory. Don't you remember that you're telling us that story over and over again? But the saving face, by the children would be, Grandpa, that's really a delightful story, even though I've heard it 50 times before that. So the idea isn't trying to make Grandpa accountable for every memory, every experience, and make sure he remembers all that stuff. The saving face really is something that happens inside you. That your heart is open to the storytelling of a grandpa, where really, in one sense, he's doing no harm. Now, if he's telling a story that really is harmful, that's another conversation. But story after story, repeating yourself, the concept of what? Saving face. How can I stay in that relationship, without kind of attacking, without kind of correcting? It really is about what? Opening your own heart to that understanding of what's going on. So it might be true of some of your friends or your coworkers. They might be telling stories, maybe the story's a little bit outlandish, when they fought off the aliens invading from Mars, anything like that. Now, if it's simple storytelling, simple exaggeration, I caught a fish that was this big, and now the fish is this big, and now the fish is this big, things like that, maybe there's no real harm in that. Maybe those stories really are about helping the ego, helping your self-worth, just feel a little bit better kind of in this harsh world. So if those kinds of stories, those kind of retelling of stories, those kinds of things that seem to really have kind of like no harm, it's not true, but the truth here doesn't really matter. So then your relationship to that person, to that grandpa, to whatever, really is your heart is open because you understand there's really no harm. There really is not telling of the truth. Now sometimes when you're talking with people or they're sharing you stories, and they might not be, really telling truth. So one of the things is, can that person get closer to their truth? So they may be telling a story, oh, the reason I couldn't get here on time was because the train was coming through, or there was this happening and that happening. Maybe that's not, actually they're trying to say, I'm trying to save face. I didn't show up for this because of this and this and this. Now accountability might say, nail that person. Tell them, well, you should have left earlier. You could have done that. Yeah, maybe some accountability is important. But the concept, the context of saving face is that might be true, that the person is making up or adding to a story that maybe has a little bit of harm or deflection or not quite truth. That might be helpful. But maybe to tell the whole truth as it really happened might be too much for that one person to face. Face. Oh, so you want that person to face every single thing in the world, every single experience they have, and you're going to make them accountable for it? Maybe. But think about your own self. There's lots of things all of us do in one sense. We do things, say things, tell stories as a form of protection. So that we're trying not to tell the absolute truth maybe, but we're not trying to lie intentionally. So the saving face would be what someone's saying, I understand. Or saying to yourself, I'm really kind of just trying to save face. So the art of coming home, this tool of coming home, really is this idea of being able to utilize the saving face with other people. Making them accountable where they can, but from your own heart, your heart is open to understanding the person's need for saving face to occur. Thank you for listening.